So, you know what? Screw it. Let's just jump right into it. Freshie. Got a new crankcase. New counter shafts, components. I just placed a huge order at motorsport.com. Huge order. Also got a surprise coming next week. It's the route that I always wanted to go with my bike. I'm sure some of you probably know what I'm talking about, so I don't want to spoil it though. Yeah, let me get this thing unwrapped, take a look at it. Alright, so now we get to see it in all its glory. So, let's just say this is new to me. So, I got this out of a bike. I want to say it had about maybe 5 hours. Crankcase. Obviously, both case halves, as you can see. Yeah, this thing is like in really good condition. Already came outfitted with bearings. Everything just looks like really, really good. So this is basically the base of my new motor that I'm building, and this time I'm gonna actually go all out. I'm working with Brett over at Racer's Edge in Arizona. So I'm doing a O-ring head, his port job, new turbo. I'm gonna leave one other piece of information as a surprise. You guys will know what I'm talking about next week. I'm really excited for that one though. So it's a huge step forward for this build. Actually, like I said, I placed a huge order through Motorsport. I'm running a WR transmission now, so it's a wide ratio transmission, which will be a lot better on the street. What else? I haven't decided if I'm going to send the gears off yet to get rim polished, and it helps with removing, pretty much pits and valleys in the gear, so it gives you a little bit more durability. So yeah, I got all that stuff coming, and I'm not mixing and matching any transmission components because I just want to avoid as many issues as possible with making the switch to that. I did a lot of research. WR transmission is compatible, and it does use the same crankcase as the YZ450. So yeah, that'll be a lot better for me in supermoto trim. And what else? I did get a new WR stator and rotor assembly. That'll help because I will need the extra current output to support the more electronics that I'll be running this time around. So as you guys know, the jug also is the old motor right here. Got it completely torn apart. This is the gear set. This stuff is, I mean, I probably could have reused some of this stuff, but it's honestly honestly, I just don't want to take a chance. It's iffy. I don't even want to risk it. See, I got some shift forks right here. This is out of the old motor. There's bearings everywhere. You see these needle bearings. Shattered second gear. I'm not sure if something bound up or this is just from about like the 700 wheelies I've done on my bike and boost. So crank actually didn't look too bad. I mean, the counterweights took a little beating, and then I did see one area on the journal. Probably won't be able to pick it up because I don't have a light on this GoPro, but you can kind of see it's like an impact mark right there in the middle of the journal, right before the counterweights taper inward. So this I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna have to look into this. This crank might be reusable, so, but it will not be utilized in my new build. So I got a new WR crank coming, because that also has to match the WR stator and rotor, because the taper is a little bit different on the end of the counter shaft coming through the side cover. What else? New jug. It's that piston I destroyed. So I'm getting a new jug. This time around I'm going with more cubes. Either probably a 480 or a 500cc. That does make it a little bit easier to turbo one of these single cylinders if you have more cubic inch. And then I got everything bagged up. A lot of this stuff will be reused. The head is still good. The clutch and clutch basket is still good. Starter is still good. A lot of this stuff is reusable. Side cover, this didn't get damaged or anything. That head, I will be doing a V-band up here now. I will be reusing the cams, but I think I'm going to have some overlap ground out of them, which will make them a little bit more boost friendly. What else? Like I said, port job on the head. I'm going to do a kibble white valve spring kit. They'll actually be shimmed up for a little bit more pressure, so I don't run into valve float, you know, when I really start breaking into the higher boost levels. Because I think that was one issue that did plague me with the last build, is I started hitting the threshold of what the stock springs could handle, and that's known as valve float. So anybody that watches my channel that, you know, they're into like boosted stuff, you'll know what I mean about that. What else? Doing a port job on the head. Probably gonna do a copper O-ring setup, so I don't really have to worry about head gasket sealing. Although I didn't have any issues out of my Cosmetic setup that I ran. I didn't really run into any like head gasket leaking issues, at least issues that I weren't aware of. And then I will be changing the turbo kit up a little bit, but I will probably edit this video or put it in my next video once, you know, I get the rest of the engine parts. But yeah, just things are rolling. Man, you guys are lucky I'm into this as much as you are, because I spent a pretty penny on this last order. It's probably over 2K just trying to get this motor back together. So yeah, stay tuned, and yeah, just big things are coming. So yep. Yo, what's up guys? I know this is like a long update on the bike. Things are actually starting to get the rolling for this thing now. So it seems like as soon as the weather broke, it just put me in, you know, a really motivated mood to start working on this thing, because it's pretty much sat since late December, early January, after the blow up in Tennessee. As you can see, this thing is pretty stripped to its bare bones right now. I do have a surprise update. I'll probably post it on my social media this upcoming week, so I don't want to, you know, spill all the beans, but let's just say I'm stripping all of the stock harness off right now. As you can see, I got the battery box and all this stuff off. I got all the fairings off right now, because I will be building a new turbo kit for the new engine that I'm building. Some of you guys that follow me on Instagram saw that I posted the new crankcase I was able to obtain over the weekend. I actually got a pretty good deal on it. It came from a bike down in Texas that only had like 5 hours on it, so it's practically new. Like, everything literally looks new. So I got both crankcase halves, a new counter shaft, and this stuff came from Donnie's Power Sports down in Texas. I think they're located in Houston. So yeah, it came outfitted with bearings and everything, and I literally just placed, like, I want to say a little bit over $2,000 worth of parts, an order that I placed on motorsport.com. So with the new build, I will be switching to a WR trans, which will be a little bit, better for what I use the bike for. I use it in pretty much like every form, like, sand dunes, dirt, street. But I mean, when I originally bought it, it was intended to be a supermoto, so I'm definitely tailoring it more towards supermoto trim. So I think the WR trans will help me out a lot, especially with me not having a 6th gear, so it'll be pretty nice. I think the WRs in stock form will go over 100 miles per hour on the freeway, so that'll give me a nice little bump and top speed. So I am going to, this video will actually be a couple videos split into one, because I am expecting a parts delivery today, so I'll probably catch some footage of that as well. So yeah, I'm gonna work on getting this stock harness ripped off, and I'm gonna get the bike to a bare chassis, basically rolling chassis, and probably gonna take this to the car wash and Scotch-Brite it, power wash it. So yes. Alright, so I got all this stuff stripped down. I'm only retaining a few things from this kit, mainly just the battery box, and then I'm actually building my own harness, and I'm going to use Deutsch connectors, which are like really high quality waterproof connectors. Also, not really a fan of these switches. These are pretty freaking cheap, and I had a ton of issues out of them. They're really cheap. When I went to the dunes, all of this stuff got crudded up with sand, and it was just a fucking nightmare, so I'm not going through that again. So if you guys know of any nice membrane switches that are really high quality, handlebar mount, let me know. I'm gonna do some searching around this week and try to find something, because I'll also be building my own lighting harness too. I'll probably use this as a nice guideline, but yeah, I'm down with that stuff. So yeah, everything is stripped for the most part, and you see I have one radiator removed. I'm actually playing around with different ideas. These both will potentially get rear mounted, or one will get remote mounted, and I'll probably shoot another video about that. But that's all regarding turbo placement, because I really want to move the new turbo more inboard towards the engine, so you don't really have anything hanging out on the side. So yeah, so got all this stuff stripped, and I'm even potentially entertaining the idea of having custom radiators built. But if I could retain the stock stuff, that'll be good. That's really what I want to try to do. This one might get replaced anyways, because I dropped my bike and it's bent, and I'm OCD like that, because I just don't like any I don't like any cosmetic nicks or anything. So but yeah, this UPS order should be arriving any minute now, so I want to get a little bit of footage for you guys and get you up to speed with the parts that I ordered. So yep, in a minute. I love coming home, stuff like this. So this is just actually one of 2 packages that I ordered from Motorsport, because a lot of stuff that I order is on back order, mainly the transmission parts. But this is a good bulk of it right here, so let me get this in the house and we'll get it open. Alright, so as you saw earlier in the video, let's see, I got new crankcase, of course, already outfitted with bearings. This came from a 5-hour bike, so it's practically new. Once overed everything, and it looks absolutely perfect. So here you can see I have a brand new OEM Yamaha crank. I'm actually sending this out to Racer's Edge, and we will be putting a Carrillo piston and rod package on it. So and then the crank pin will also get welded. So I also got a new tail because I damaged the one that was originally on my bike at Silver Lake, so that was something I've had to replace for a while now. So I got a brand new blue tail. I got the WR one because I actually might run the WR Lite, or at least use this mounting structure that the WR fender has. It would just make my life a lot easier if I can, you know, already have a mounting solution figured out for a tail light. Let's see what this is. Okay, this is the WR stator. I really need to get a stand for the scope. One second. So this will also help running the WR stator. So this is a higher output. I think this is 160 watt versus the stock YZ 70 watt stator. But this also took a little bit of damage when I moved my bike up too. You can see I mean, it's fixable, but I would just have to solder one of the leads back on the crank sensor wire, which isn't a big deal, but I figured since I was upgrading anyways, I might as well try to get something with a little bit more power output, because I'll probably be running more electronics this time around. So I got that, and then I got a bunch of odds and ends. So this is a new oil pump that'll be modified to give me a little bit more oil pressure. New second gear. Like I said, I ordered a whole WR transmission. I'm trying to avoid mixing and matching anything, just to avoid any potential issues. So this is a new second gear, and the rest of the gears, all of that stuff is on back order. I think I should be getting that maybe like mid-April, mid to early April. But yeah, this is second gear. This is the one I actually pulled out of my bike right here. This thing cracked completely in half. I wish it was like a billet gear option, honestly. Hell, I wish it was an option to have a billet YZ450 case. Let's see, new shift forks. Obviously shims and washers for the transmission. Okay, that's a new lock washer. The new timing chain. Another shift fork. This is the shaft for the shift fork. O-ring. But yeah, I got a lot of stuff rolling in. Let me open this crank for you guys. I should have really thought about this before I made this video. Open this stuff already. And the crazy part, it was actually cheaper. It was cheaper to just buy the crank as one assembly with the rod already on it than it was to buy 2 new counterweights. So, new crank has the rod on it that I managed to break in half, so this is coming off. So, yeah. Oh, and this is also a WR crank. This is not a YZ crank because, as I understand it, this register right here that the stator rides on is slightly larger on the WR crank, so it's a little bit beefier right here. So I don't know why they just won't go with the standard size, honestly, because it's kind of annoying if you think about it, because stuff like this should be easy. This should be modular, like it should be, you know, swappable between YZ and WR, but unfortunately it's not. So, but yeah, so brand new crank. What else do we got here? That might be it. But yeah, I know this upcoming week I'll have a new video for sure. That's a bombshell that I'm dropping next week. I want to leave that one as a surprise though, but if you follow me on TikTok or Instagram, you probably already know what I'm talking about. So yeah, stay tuned. Yeah, this is hopefully this moves pretty fast. The only thing I gotta get now is just the cylinder or the jug and the new piston and rod, and I think I will be getting that from Brett over at Racer's Edge, Arizona. And yeah, I might just go ahead and do like a O-ring cylinder and just go all out, because at this point, I mean, I'm kind of into this pretty deep now, so it would be, you know, foolish to not just upgrade that stuff while I have everything apart. So yeah, just stay on the lookout, and yeah, I should have a lot of build videos coming soon. So peace.